Yeah, so that was Kendrick's GNX. I don't know. I don't I my current thoughts on it, and again, I have to revisit it. I have to listen to it when I can really focus on the lyrics. So this first listen was kind of a wash, and mostly I was able to just focus on the music and sort of the songwriting and get a sense for all the places he was trying to go, or they were trying to go sonically, since there seemed to be a lot of producers involved in every track. Um, Currently, I don't know. I think it's just like, to me, it's just like it's okay. Like, it's good. I didn't find it mind blowing. It seems like there's this balance attempting to be struck between these kind of really lush and moving arrangements, and then this very like West Coast gangster thing. And I think I'm not, I don't think I'm the biggest fan of songs that sound like they were directly inspired by other rap songs to the degree that it happens on here. Like the One Mic song, I forget the name of the one. Is it Man at the Garden? Um like, I don't know how I feel about that. Sitting here in this moment having heard that, and then for somebody in the chat to say One Mic, and then you hear the beat and it's like, oh yeah, that's basically the beat to One Mic. And then it sort of does the same build up thing that One Mic does, and then you take everything away. Um I guess I just don't know how I feel about that. It's interesting, and it gets rap music a little closer to something that I've always wanted to see rap music arrive at, where um, there are, like rap standards, like jazz standards. Somebody asked me this on the Patreon thread that I'm going to do the Hella Personal podcast with those questions. But I've always wanted to see rap arrive at that place where there are like rap standards. Um, so you could hear, you could hear a new rapper's take on a Biggie song. The only song that I remember ever really getting that treatment was Lottie Dottie. Slick Rick's Lottie Dottie got remade by Snoop. Um, that ended up being really effective because they were both good storytelling rappers with good sort of musical voices, and the differences that Snoop made in tweaking the lyrics gave you more of a sense of Snoop Dogg's world that he was trying to paint. And that can be like this really strong thing that happens if you have a standard. The tweaks that the new artist makes in trying to, you know, in trying to make an homage to the standard, it can point to some really interesting things with the new artist. So I think long term wise, I do want to see that world. I want to live in the world where we can make more direct homages to rap songs. Um, I think maybe my reluctance to enjoy it here is that whenever I hear Kendrick, like, you can't take Kendrick out of the context of this year, especially where he's like officially the biggest rapper in the world. And from where I sit, I'm always looking at when an artist, especially a rapper, has the most resources, how are they using the resources? And I think at this point, I would rather see Kendrick use the resources to make something more original than to make an homage, than to rap directly over the SWV song. Um, I think that's my reluctance to fully engage and embrace that idea. Is that I'm always like, oh, okay, well, there's so many more possibilities for what you can do when you have that level of resources. Um, that I, as a listener, crave to see how far you can push the thing. And there is a little bit of a conversation to be had in when you are at that level, and the things that you point back to and choose to bring into people's awareness that they haven't been thinking about. When you do point to those things as a really huge artist now, like, there is a value in that too. There's a value in bringing life to things that have been largely forgotten. I mean, and I'll say this too. I'll give him a lot of credit for, pointing to One Mic, which is not, nobody's talking about One Mic. Like One Mic was a big single at the time, but it's not like, I'm trying to think of like what, like a cheaper, easier song. Like it's not like he remade Biggie's Juicy, right? He didn't go for low hanging fruit. Obviously, that Nas song really resonated with him, and he wanted to make an homage to it. So I do think, for those purposes, even pointing at the SWV song, which is not a song that a lot of people are bumping these days, there is a lot of value in that too. So I definitely want to give credit for that. And I'm sort of talking this through while I'm having these thoughts. And again, it's going to take me another listen to really dig into the album and figure out how I feel about it. I am having a little bit of the same feeling like I had after hearing Tyler's album, that I maybe expected a little bit more. I gotta say, where I sit, and I don't know about the rest of y'all, but where I sit in 2024, it's just hard to know what to expect. Like, Tyler's album, for instance, these little vignettes, these little film pieces that he made sort of painted this picture that Tyler's album was going to bring us into this whole world, like, and it was going to be a whole, audio visual movie. Like, it made me think of like Pink Floyd's The Wall, like some big artistic statement with this sort of like science fiction edge to it. I think I went into the album thinking that I was going to hear something that was like that thing fully realized. But I think that was just marketing. And it's not bad at all. It's great. It got me interested, right? Like, that's what marketing is supposed to do. And in this case, it's not that Kendrick did it anymore. He didn't do any marketing. He just surprised released the album. It's just that with the year he's had, with the conversations that he started, the dialogues he started with his art, with the trajectory that he's on, it's difficult to know what an album from somebody in that position is supposed to sound like, or who it's supposed to appeal to, what it's supposed to address or not address. Like, all of that comes into play. And I think a lot of how we feel about these sort of projects is, and I'll just speak for me, it's me confronting my own expectations for whatever it is that I feel like should be happening. But I come away from this first listen sort of unsure, to be honest, sort of unsure about what I think about it. And so I'll be listening more, especially to, there's a few songs where I felt like he was really addressing things directly, which is what I always want from Kendrick. He even said it in one of the songs. He was like, fuck a double entendre, I want y'all to feel it. Like, that's what I think a lot of these situations, a lot of these conversations needs direct addressing of things. And it sounds like he was doing a lot of that. So I look forward to giving the album another spin at some point, especially with those 2 or 3 songs where I felt like he was speaking to something directly, and digging in and hearing more. And also, I was just yapping for a lot right there. So y'all tell me what y'all thought or think. And in the meantime, for those that don't know, this is The Morning Show. Like and subscribe, homie, friend. It's free. Stop playing.